the bus.
Happy holiday, folks. Hopefully by now you done had you some good turkey with your family. Everything is safe, everything is well, but we still got a job to do, folks, because we're back here for episode 6 of the BMF documentary, Blowing Money Fast. This episode is Time to Run, and to be honest, this might be the most climactic episode thus far. Nothing but action. I mean, it is exactly what the title it says. It's time to get up out of here, which makes me really interested about the finale, because that one's called Legacy, and I'm pretty sure that's just going to be a reflection of everything that BMF has done to really change the culture and within hip-hop and so on. But this episode takes us now about the fallout of the brothers here after Terry's 34th birthday in Vegas, and the whole shenanigans that we laughed about in our last recap. Business is done. They don't speak to each other, and this is normal for folks for siblings to fight and not talk. There just happens to be a lot of money involved, but
that's it. Yeah. It's just other business interests involved in it. Man, I don't went fuck months. I went years without talking to some siblings, Joe. Like, nah, I'm gonna let you cool. Give me a decade. Then we'll talk again.
And to be honest, though, like to kind of put content on it, and I am a little bit underwhelmed that we didn't get more sort of commentary from Meech on this, but like guns were drawn, but no triggers pulled, and it was a little bit of flexing kind of going on there from the previous episode, but this was definitely like an intrusion of space. Terry wasn't feeling it. He wanted to deny it by himself. Meech had to do what he always does, try to grab the spotlight. His homies rolled up. Everyone already knew everyone had guns, but I guess people had to pull it out to show it, and then it was it. And so now the brothers go their own way. You got the 263 crew with Terry, and then BMF is still with Meech. But like the biggest thing to kind of what I'm underwhelmed is that I would have loved to hear Meech speak more about this, because this is sort of a really big milestone for the two of them. And I think while we get Meech sort of commentary on the BMF series about his whole intentions and everything he's doing there, and then for the first 5 episodes of this, we were getting the same thing. So the one time that you could actually just say, like, listen,
want something from Meech about, hey, this is what happened here with me and my brother. Like, this is the feelings that were involved as this was going on. Or just admit, like, man, egos. All of it happens in families. This is what happened. You want something more. Give more, as they call it, meat and potatoes to exactly what happened in that situation.
Yeah, because that again, I know we care about the drugs, we care about the movement, but I think I think there is still, especially with the series, I think there's a lot of investment about the sibling, and whether it's the sibling rivalry or just the camaraderie amongst the siblings. And the moment that something could have been said, should have been said here. It could have been something in the lines of like, listen, I was wrong. Or like, man, that's just my brother. I just do these things all the time. I don't care what bit of angle he took.
Something as simple as, hey, we in the business. We let business get in the way of family here, and this is what happened. This is the lesson we learned from this. You want it more, but maybe we'll get more of that in the Legacy episode, where maybe they do the retrospect of it and say, you know what? We did go through a lot of tough ups and downs. This is why. But in the end, no matter what, that was still my brother, and all this, you know how it go.
Yeah, I mean, and you're kind of being kind of modest here, but like, I mean, not only do we hope we get that from each, but like, do we get T to step in there and say a line or two? That would be monumental. And I know everybody had to be pulling for it.
That's the key part. Yeah. That's the key. That's what everybody wants to see. Because again, T's the quiet one. T still ain't spoke this whole time. You heard about me. You hear T say nothing except for over the wiretap.
It's funny. It's funny when he's on the wiretap. They got a caption who's talking, because we literally don't hear his voice. So there's no way of saying like, who is that? Oh, that's T. Oh, okay, finally. He has 2 lines now in 6 episodes now, and he's equally a part of everything.
Also, hopefully this shows people, because I do know there's some people who are not up a lot on BMF, but they knew that Meech and T went to prison. And I know people were questioning, hold up, T been out for a minute. How the heck is Meech still in? What this series is showing you why Meech is still in. Like, he became the figurehead of the organization, even though they openly admit he wasn't the person running it, but you the one who pissed law enforcement off the most.
Yeah.
And they threw the book at you.
Oh man, and yeah, within the first 2 minutes of this episode and pretty much all of episode 5, it is very, very clear in big bold letters that law enforcement wanted Meech bad. Meech's lawyer was like, I don't get it. Like, he's clearly not the shooter here from Club Chaos. Like, it's blatantly clear to everyone that's involved what is it that they want. And yes, there's a very much a receipt that they're trying to return from the humiliation.
Look, you got off on a case and flew everybody away to an island. Dude, like, and then you threw the birthday parties of all birthday parties. And the funny part is, only reason I really know or remember anything about this birthday party is because Pusha T, if you know, you know. Because it's a line in the song, he said, where were you when Big Meech brought the Tigers in?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, the king of the jungle party.
I gotta, you know, once, so yeah, the lawyer talked about, you know, don't really want Meech, and then eventually Meech was finally let go, acquitted, and off of house arrest. And he, like you say, he took everybody to Mexico, because that's where all black people go, Mexico. And
hey, this is just before, you know, you bastards took over Tulum.
Yeah.
So he probably went to Cancun or something. This is before black folks knew. Black folks didn't know about Cocoon until Corona hit. The moment Corona hit, they're like, Tulum, where's this amazing place at?
Can I talk about the marketing strategy of the folks of Tulum, where they were just like, man, shit rough. We don't know if we're gonna make it through the pandemic. And they easily marketed straight towards black people. And then we just took that shit over. I was down there too. I can't even lie. I was definitely down there.
Hey, that's why I said it. I went to Tulum before the pandemic, though.
Hey, listen, and I'm not the only one of Big O Belt Media that went. Just to make that very clear, Maya. But just to say that folks was down that journey.
Hey, she took a whole caravan of folks that went to Tulum. Oh man, look. Hey. So we understand, Meech. We fully understand.
Yeah.
If I was to do that, you're damn right we going to Tulum.
Yeah. And listen, Meech took folks the best way, a commercial plane, and everybody was living good. He said it was like the soul train, the soul plane and everything. But folks now, they not rocking, they not living and moving like Meech. So they soul planing it on the Spirit Airlines. So listen, you can get the same Meech package if you want. You may not get all the amenities, but if you want to be down there with your folks, Spirit to
Frontier
Tulum.
was giving it to Frontier was giving it to y'all for $5.99 for the year. They was like, y'all fly $5.99 anywhere in the world for a year. Oh man, you may have to pilot a couple of those flights, but they was giving it to you for $5.99.
Hey, Black Twitter had a time with that one. Whoo-wee. But this was interesting though, because when they did get down to Mexico, I guess I just wasn't expecting to see some folks and faces pop up here. Lil Jon, okay, that makes sense. Lil Jon was just in the club with him. Megan Good, which was the funniest moment, because Megan Good did one of those backup things and smooched the camera in front of her.
Yeah, you're too close. You're too close.
But hey, my man Bone Crusher got an invite. Now listen, my man had 1 to maybe 2 good songs out there, and my man was definitely
a huge bodyguard though. He's a huge bodyguard in ATL at that time.
That's true.
And that attention, John. That if you think
right.
I ain't never scared.
Hey, you're right. I do want. Hey, you're right. I do want that. If you can have that with you at any given point, you do want my man with you. Just like, hey, Bone Crusher, go ahead and get that attention. And you be like, all right, there you go. We good. We good. We good. Just checking. This is funny though, because I can't believe Yogi said this, but today was like, man, we went to, I think it was Yogi, it was some might have been other cubs, but they said, man, we went to the same club every night. If you've ever been on a resort, folks, your options of what clubs you go to is
very limited.
Very, very limited. So this line of we went to the same club every night, I don't know if that was actually like a thing of saying like, oh, we were doing it big, or like we didn't have options. So yeah, we were back to the same
and maybe they let you know we didn't go to a resort. We went like they didn't say what part of Mexico. I was waiting for like, okay, exactly where did you go in Mexico? Because I do know some party places down there. But they was like, man, we were at the same club every night. Like they tore it up every night, which fits into part of the issue that Terry had with me. Just nothing's low profile. Like if you go and you buy out the club night one, you don't go back the next night and buy out the club again. Because then at that point, all eyes are on you.
Absolutely. And yeah, you're in another country and all eyes are on you because folks gonna get off work or get to understanding that their usual spot ain't their usual spot for the weekend. Yeah, it's a lot of reasons why
you ain't happy about that.
Yeah,
especially in Mexico. Especially in
Mexico. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, T now before that happening, T rebrands his side of the company to 263. BMF spelled out on the telephone pad. I had never knew that, but okay. And here's my favorite part of this episode here is Officer Brian, who, you know, like all officers, they're family men. Because who would pick their family over their job? Not a damn officer alive. And in this case, he gets the call from Jack and said, listen, I know you got some family shit, but nah, fuck that. You need to go surveillance Meech. And like, the thing about this is like them saying like they got something interesting here. And they didn't get anything they hadn't had before.
Yeah. Nothing. It didn't. At this point, if you're watching the documentary and you don't know much of the story, you're really waiting like, okay, so where's the big information at? Like, I mean, unless you just be more gun trace task forced it up here, just planted everything humanly possible on Meech and said we're gonna get him this way.
Yeah,
like again, it was weird just to do it for that party. It was more of, again, them being mad that he was showboating.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
Listen, bless their heart, because they got some really good photography for Meech. You didn't even have to pay them. They just showed up and did the job for him, and now all those pictures are available online right now. But what's interesting,
just put Getty on them jumps. It would have been perfectly fine.
Mine as well. Listen, at this point though, like you have to wonder, like the flight with all these folks to Mexico wasn't a bigger deal than a local party in Atlanta.
He brought an elephant. He brought animals.
Yeah,
he put animals out.
They ain't like that.
He brought live animals out. Like that. At that point, nah, dog. Nah.
There's a part of me that's like, they hate that this black dude really think he's Scarface. I think that really is the bottom line issue.
1000% so. How dare you be a mixture of Prince Hakeem and Scarface, and you bring elephants out? Come on, man. They had enough. They're like, nah, we've had enough at this point.
Oh man.
All so missing was the Meech Bucks. I should beat him to it. If you'd had the Meech Bucks, that'd have did it. That'd have really pissed him off, Joe.
But for whatever reason at this point, I'm like, man, dude, this man Meech ever get hangovers? Because I ain't heard a story about this yet. He just seemed to be on and popping each and every night.
Man. Hey, once you drink, you can, from my own knowledge, if you drink enough, shit just becomes everyday practice. You don't get hangovers, really. You just always in a state of bliss and relaxation.
Yeah, because people wasn't rocking BC back in the day, so...
Yeah,
or maybe
that was a country thing. Maybe in ATL they was, because I ain't know about BC till like 2017. And I was asking somebody, "Are you trying to give me coke?" I'm like, "Nah, Joe, don't you put that coke in front of me. I ain't never seen no aspirin crunched up like that."
Yeah, first time I seen it. First time I seen it was in Vegas. My boy was like, "Oh, try this." I was like, "You try it first. Let me see." Because I'll keep this hangover if need be.
I ain't never heard of Coke getting rid of a hangover. Like,
yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure it would though, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna come with other problems.
Listen, I was just about to say, and maybe that was the remedy for the hangovers for the BMF crew. Like maybe that's how they was trying to figure this out.
Hit a line, be like, "Yep, all right, let's go,
let's go." Time. We back in motion. So Meech is being followed by a camera, and Terry's being on the wire, and with this happening now, the biggest thing is they got T, but they're not mad at T. The issue is that T is not the flashy, big, attractive name, and he's also not attached to this vendetta that they had. So T is just there, and they're just kind of bored with it. But Meech is the one, they don't have any drugs on it. And funny enough, and they didn't really tell this unless I just didn't hear this correctly, when they started to talk about the wires getting cold, it's because Meech eventually caught on to it. He was sending people to locations, and they never and would not go there, but the cops would show up. But Terry, did he ever catch on as well too, or did they just not talk about this at all?
I don't think they talked about it in this episode.
Yeah, because I don't think so. I think at one point they was like, T's doing what he does. We got him. We're getting code and everything from him. But we're a little bored of that. But Meech is the one we can't get with any drugs.
We need him connected to drugs.
Yeah, and every single time, and they eventually said Meech was, and it's odd. It's odd in the philosophy all of a sudden, because they said, oh, Meech was the paranoid one. He kept switching phones, and it was hard to keep up with him, and then when he would send people places, they wouldn't show up, but the cops would, and eventually he got cold, and he got hipped, and then the lines got cold. So, it's interesting because you have to think that if these brothers had just been talking, probably could have saved them both a lot of trouble right now.
It also shows the difference of possibly the scale of what Terry was doing versus the scale of what Meech had to take care of. They pinpointed, like, the organization at one point was really ran through what Terry did.
Yeah.
Meech was someone who was the face of BMF. So what he did was he had someone, he communicated to someone, and they communicated down the folk. He didn't want people to talk directly to him. But if Terry's the one running everything the way they making it sound like it, Terry's the one that would talk the most, because he would have to handle business.
Yeah. No, it makes that definitely makes sense. And I also think that there's a little part of T that's like, oh, we're out the way. They're not on to us.
Because Meech was hot as a firecracker at that point.
Yeah. And he's like, there's no way we're connected, especially when we're not talking. But little did he know. So yeah, there's a little bit of obliviousness going on here. And then Meech
definitely it is, because they're brothers. So
yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you be connected?
Yeah.
In the end, y'all related. Like, I don't care how high it may be on one of you, it's on both of you too.
Now here's where it really get interesting. Is the focus in the year 2004, where they said things started to get violent, and there's a BMF affiliate who had got caught up on something, and also the son of the mayor and whatnot. But this guy, Ulysses Hackett and Misty Carter, are assassinated, and it's an unsolved mystery. And this is instantly attached to BMF. Definitely. Now, I may not be the highest grain of weed. That is a quote from Charlemagne, folks. But what am I missing here? Because there's absolutely no way how this is an unsolved mystery, and they also said that it's involved with somebody with BMF, and this is a hit, all in the same sentence. It's like we know who did it, but we also don't know who did it.
we know who did it, but we can't connect yet the person who did it to the person we needed to connect to. Once we get it connected to him, it's definitely a BMF hit. Until then, we don't really know much.
Hey, listen.
Like, we know, well, they basically said he snitched. He got pinched on something, and he told his affiliation, and they found out. So part of the reason why they think BMF did it is because he was snitching on BMF for them. So they're like, of course they killed you. Like, come on, man. Like, it is what it is.
Listen,
and hopefully in your death we'll get our great white whale that we're searching for.
Yeah, it's a lot of discrepancies here because number one, and obviously I don't know the structure in and out, but like no one was technically an affiliate. You were in because everybody was a part of. Listen, he took a commercial plane, and I can promise you he could not name every single person that was on there. So what we talking about, like 250 people on a plane or 3? I forget how much, especially then.
Everybody hotel room.
Everybody,
like, hey.
Every single body. So obviously he rented a whole resort out for the weekend because that's only what a baller would do. So my point is, if you're in the family, you're in the family. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. There's nobody that's an affiliate. We haven't even heard the word affiliate yet. It's the first time I believe we heard. Everyone was part of the family because that's what it was all about, was to be a part of the family. So somebody saying they were an affiliate is clearly somebody who was outside the club, outside the invite, outside of this whole circle thing, who desperately wanted to be in it, probably was doing their own thing. Sure, they had drugs, or did they even have drugs at this point? Because all of that could be a conspiracy.
Maybe they didn't work for BMF, and just because you got your supply from us in a way that you may have thought, don't mean you are at all affiliated with us.
Yeah, and I mean,
by the cops' conclusion of what affiliation is, if I sell you a bag, you're affiliated with me. No, the fuck you're not.
Yeah,
you're a buyer. That's all you are, and that's what it seems like. Possibly these affiliates were constant buyers. That's it. Yeah. You're not an affiliate. You're a customer.
Yeah, I mean, because granted, a couple of scenes later, there's like, oh, we have to find somebody who's the seller. We got to get a name somehow because Meech ain't selling, so we need somebody. So all this tells me, and like again, there is a rock star sort of celebrity to all of the feds and police involved to this. They're very passionate about this because they got their guy. That's all that matters. And at the end of the day, that's all that ever mattered to them, was to get their guy by any means necessary. So you think for whatever reason, ethically, they're going to sit here and say, oh, we didn't try to pin something more severe on them to intensify the heat. We can't get them for the parties. We couldn't get them for the double murder. So now we got to do something. And big emphasis on this Misty Carter person. If you remember that news thing, Misty Carter, it's just a shame society is somebody like Misty Carter could be brutally slayed like that. Oh, my man Ulysses is just chopped meat. Oh, I get it. Oh, it's a white woman that was killed by these black gangsters here. This is certainly going to make society in an uproar.
It's an innocent soul.
Yeah.
You know, they went too far as to say that she knew nothing about it. She didn't even know he's a drug dealer. If you don't get out here with that bullshit, understand, if you don't see me go to work every day, I'm coming up with money. And we are going out and we are living a lifestyle that you should know. It takes X amount of money to live this lifestyle.
Yeah.
And magically you didn't know what I did? It's not a girl who's ever been connected to anyone who is affiliated in any way, shape, form, or fashion in a certain walk of life that don't know what you do.
Yeah.
Because men don't hide that, unfortunately. They let everybody know.
Especially in balling ass, stunting ass Atlanta, where everybody's being flashy at this time, because your little chump change that you got ain't shitting, ain't even touching the shit that Big Meech that's doing. And then Meech is one of the big dogs, but there's other celebrities still around. Diddy is still in the city. Jermaine Dupri is still in the city. There's big names that's still doing it. So whatever he's doing has no reason to hide. Like, can't show you what I'm really up to because, you know, they might see me. They're not worried about you. However, the feds have been looking for anybody involved with them, which is why
to get a connection. Yep.
Trying to find something, because we see that what they did with O-Dog, which there's obviously video, there's audio, and all of that happened with that. So this hit that went on here, y'all don't have anything on the wiretap about that? Y'all been surveillancing him the whole time. So how all of a sudden did y'all just miss a hit? And y'all know all the code words. So what am I missing here? All of a sudden, an unsolved mystery that is unsolved, but we know who did it, but we don't know who did it. but it's the weirdest. It's literally the weirdest thing. And they really tried to put this in here, and it's funny because the white the assistant DA, I love his personality on this because he is literally having a time of his life because he's telling a certain aspect to this that makes them look good, and there's also parts of it where they talk about the frustrations, but there is definitely a lot of like, if they only knew what was really happening,
if they only knew that we did this and this, Meech will be released tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like when Lou gets on his stories in here and he starts laughing, everybody in the comments like, hey, tell us the real stuff, and I just like Rico case. Oh, they got YouTube wiretaps.
Exactly.
Wait, is my video going on out? Oh shit, my video.
Oh shit, let me get the fuck off here. I don't know. My guy got a wire on. That's all that is. I know.
I'm gonna do the next interview naked just in case. All right, so you'll see nothing on me.
Hey, come your drawers in the tank top, man. I need to know up front.
Pandemic day 5 attire, man, on the Zoom. But yeah, folks, I mean, y'all can, I mean, this is our recap review. Y'all can chime in on that aspect because that to me did not make sense. They really tried to slide that in under the radar that like 2004 was a big year because Meech got out and he went back to partying. They obviously hated that. And then all of a sudden they said, this is the violent year of BMF. So what else did they do? They had a hit and then that was it, because the end of this were in November. So who knows what
you expect someone to say a violent year. You're expecting at least 10 to 15 bodies to drop, not 2.
Yeah. Ask Pablo Escobar and the folks,
what a violent year looks like.
Bodies.
That's El Chapo. What a violent year looks like. It's a little different.
Yeah. So again, and to the point, this is the idea that the feds are like, what we did the first time did not work. We tried to get him on something that wasn't him. So now we got to do something again and again suspect that it's him and try this all over again.
Yeah.
But this time it ain't gang on gang violence. It's actually a white woman who was a bystander to this other guy. By the way, that other guy, Ulysses, was in a basketball jersey. And I was thinking to myself, like, is he like a former athlete or something? That's the picture they had of him. So I started to think, like, were they both innocent bystanders? Did they not only take somebody that wasn't even really an affiliate, and they were just oh man, we saw this guy buy drugs, so he's obviously selling them too. Let's get it.
That's all it took. That's all it took. That's it. And fuck around, and he probably had like less than a gram on them, and they like, oh, drug dealer, get him. BMF, because good and well they were running up to every drug dealer they saw. BMF, because they're so fascinated with pinning something on Meech. And this documentary so far is just showing you just how fascinated they were on pinning anything they could on Meech. The point you are openly admitting, you let an organization that you knew was selling volume drugs continue to do it because you couldn't get the one person that embarrassed.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And that's just like, oh dog.
Then y'all up here cheesing on here, like, but we got them. How about all of those other lives that were affected while you still allow that to happen, though?
Yeah.
Like, you don't think that you all should have to pay some form of price for that? It would make no sense if you didn't.
Yeah. So very casually they say, oh, well, the wiretaps got cold, so we need to do something to be able to keep them going. So we found O-Dog, who's somewhere near the bottom of the totem pole here, but he was their biggest seller. Their biggest seller, who drives like a maniac on the highway, who drops the drugs off at his girlfriend's house, who then gets a bag of dope, then leaves his girlfriend's house, and then gets pulled over. You take the drugs and his car, he walks home, and then he gets on the phone and stutters that he's been released. They took it. This is their biggest seller, by the way. And this is not like day 2 of the job. So, not saying I know how this works, but like, if you are Meech's top guy, and they have not been able to find drugs on Meech this entire time. And all of a sudden, you just like a sleight of hand, and you get O-Dog. And all of a sudden, it took you 1 to 2 days to say, "Oh, he's reckless. We got him getting ready to drop some da-da-da."
And we let him go.
And we let him go. And they said, and I don't understand, why would they do that? That's just, I talked to the investigator. Why would they let him go?
And it confused them so much that we let him go. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me. That confused them? No, sir. No. Here's the thing. I really, really would love to hear Meek's perspective on this story.
Me too.
Because what they saying ain't making no sense.
Not at all.
First things first. If you I'm trying to word this right. If at any given time I give you something and that something gets taken away, and the people who take it away from you don't punish you while taking it away, do you think I'm gonna ever trust you again? Matter of fact, do you think you're gonna be living much longer?
Yeah.
How is it that Ulysses, who was kind of a supply, kind of a buyer, kind of a supplier, but he got pinched and they thought he was snitching, so they killed him. This other dude had how much weight taken from him, and the police said, "Have a good day"? We're not even talking on the phone. The moment you say, "Man, yeah, I got hit up. X amount of work is gone." And I'm like,
come here.
How are you free? And you're like, "Oh, like they told me to have a good day." Click. Everybody cut communication.
Yeah.
No one talks to him.
Let's
something's up.
Let's get some more of the timeline here, because you're entirely right. The hit happened, and then the lines got cold. Then this happened, and the lines got cold because it's not like they wasn't doing shit, it's because they got hit. So you mean to tell me that there wasn't an overall meeting, especially with your top seller? Because I mean, of course you have to meet with your top seller, like, right? He would be right there, the main guy that y'all say is the top. Yeah. So like, hey, top seller, things are changing. We're gonna be off the phone a lot more because shit is happening. So you got that? Cool. So okay, next day, or what they say, 5 hours later, he gets pulled over. They take all his stuff, and you think, yeah, I need to make a phone call to tell anybody what just happened to me. This impossible story.
One, I don't know anybody in this line of work who would be dumb enough to say, I need to call somebody to tell them what happened. Most of them would have been like, I need to get a flight. I need to get the hell away from this area. Because even if I'm innocent, no one's going to believe me.
All the time.
No one's going to believe me. Like, I just had the biggest bullseye painted on my back. Like, you doing? See, and that's what I didn't like, because it makes it seem like this is such an amazing plan that the cops came up with. In all honesty, what you did, you put a target on that kid's back. That's what you did. If we're going to be honest about it, you took work and told him have a nice day. No one's going to believe that story. Instead, what I'm going to think is you're snitching. What I'm thinking is you're corroborating. What I'm thinking is you need to die. So you put a target on this kid's head. But that's not discussed. Like, hey, yeah, we went out here and put this target on this kid's head because we wanted to see how they would react to it. But the reaction you wanted was for Meech to say, kill him. That's what they wanted. They wanted someone on a wiretap to say, man, we got to get rid of him. Mm-hmm. Instead, everybody was like, yep, nope, we ain't talking to you no more.
Yeah.
Click.
Sis. Again, folks, you all can kind of navigate and narrate what you think about this, but I need episode 7 to clear a lot of this up, because right now, and again, no, nothing against the documentary or Shan or anybody that put this together. No. But Power's looking more believable than the story that the cops are telling right now. hey, clearly.
Because they damn sure just gave you a Power storyline.
Yeah.
Was it Dre that got the work taken from him and went back to Ghost? I think it was something like this happened in Power.
It was. Like, I was thinking about it. I just couldn't remember what character it was.
Not believable. Like, that could never happen in real life. He would be dead.
And Narcos has happened too.
Exactly. And they're like, nope, here you go. This is what happens in real life.
what did I literally did just watch something, and it was was it Raising Canaan? It was it Raising Canaan?
What disappeared? Like this is just an unbelievable thing. Even worse yet, if you know cops, you understand they have to answer to somebody. How are you going to explain we seized this amount of work, but we let the guy go? And they're like, wait, you did what? Because one thing about cops, they love to showboat. And when they get that much work, they're going to lay it out on the table. They're going to get all the cameras there. They're going to get the mayor there. We're going to talk about cleaning up our streets.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, you can't say we're cleaning up our streets. They're like, where's the guy who had it? Well, we let him go. We told him to have a nice day. Come on.
Yeah.
But he should be dead next week. And when they kill him, then we'll be able to get Meech. That's all you had to say.
And to also, like, my last statement too, I love the fact that this documentary is causing this type of conversations here, because it ain't just like fact
exactly
of a timeline, at least what their truth is. But this is definitely a documentary that is brewing up a little bit of controversy here, and a little bit of conspiracy, if you may say, as well too. And again, this is why this feels like the most climactic episode of it. It's funny about these Starz show, man. Episode 6 and 7 always do this shit. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Starz, man. Always keeping us entertained. Hopefully you all are entertained too. So getting to the last part now, somebody shows up to Meech's house. He gets a couple of stacks, shows up naked and says, shit, it's hot, bro. Get in your whip and get out of Dodge. And that from Atlanta to Miami. Yogi, who had just sort of got the job of being the cleaner, finds out that she has a much larger contribution to the family. She is ride or die, for life or death, as she said. But yeah, this is when they started the wiretap started to focus on her, because she was the one calling the plays. But also this is where all the houses and everything started to get hit all at once. And Meech and Yogi gets in the car, the least hot car that they got. I'm pretty sure, if I just had to name what car they had, it was probably like a Hyundai Sonata or something, because those cars kind of
2004.
Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, those didn't exist. They did, but not those.
What
was not hot in 2004?
Oh man,
it ain't.
What's that little GMC little truck jump? Not a Suburban, clearly, but the jump below that, like if it's an SUV, they said least hot car, so it got to be a normal car.
Yeah,
like I can't. My mind won't allow me to remember 2004 and what like everybody was driving.
I know all the hot cars in 2004. The Monte Carlos, the Impalas.
Hey, pretty much they weren't driving any of those. None of those were being driven. They were driving like a Toyota Highlander or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, this car gets no heat at all.
Yeah. Yoki was proud because that was her baby. But yeah, she said they're this brother and sister, and when everything happened, she said we got to get out of here, and they're being followed, and that's sort of the end of the episode. But now that the cops have means to move on everybody, I guess we'll see. We'll see how they try to clean this up next episode.
That's cool.
Yeah,
this plant work.
Definitely plant work. Yeah, it's gonna be wild, but I don't know. Is there any? I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something else I need to mention too. You talked about that. Really. Yeah. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I will say in full transparency that it will be. How do I put this? I want to say this in the right way. I know what I'm gonna say. There are some folks that are attached to this documentary who apparently they were gonna have for interviews, and considering some of the people, especially in this episode, that were available, it really just gave me this uncomfortableness of how do you talk to somebody who was so involved in this.
Oh.
That's all I kept thinking is it's like, I mean, obviously we've interviewed tons of people, but like this is different. And
hey, this is a different type of interview.
Yeah, because
it's a different type of interview.
Yeah, because initially in the beginning,
you ain't going to talk too much. You better focus strictly on the doc.
Yeah, this is one of those ones like So my name is, and your name is. What do you want to talk about? I don't have any questions. Just let's shoot the gun.
Hey,
here.
how was your life in this time period? That's it. How was your life? How was you living?
Yeah.
We ain't got to talk about the downfall of it. Let's talk about the uprising. What did y'all build for the community? Like stuff like that.
So what car was it actually? That's all I'm gonna give you.
There you go. There you go. That's all you need to ask. What car was it that you were so proud of? We guessed the Toyota Highlander because you said it wasn't a car that would get a lot of attention. And we were thinking about it at this time. If it was a car, and we know, was it Altima? You know, Altimas and chicks back then was still
those
like
baby mama bills. They still out here.
They still out there. Or the single mama with the with the slick haircut. The what's those Toyota Solaris? Like those the slick mamas with the slick haircut Jones had back then in 2004.
Oh my God. How was that time in Mexico? Tulum? Cabo? Not Cabo. Y'all didn't go to no damn Cabo. You fucking Cancun.
You know they went to Cancun. Everybody knows they went to Cancun.
Yeah. Playa del Carmen. I know y'all went. Y'all had 1 to 3 places. Oh yeah. I mean, y'all knew 3 cities back in the day: Atlanta, Miami, and Cancun. That's it. That's
Cancun. That was it. That was it. Nowhere else to go to, Joe. All places that DC has a weekend also.
Anyway, folks, y'all let us know y'all thoughts about episode 6, Time to Run. There's a lot that went on this episode. We really can't wait to get back for episode 7 next week. Hopefully you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Maybe did some shopping on Black Friday, but whatever it may be, as long as you was around your loved ones, your family, your friends, check on your family and friends. Holiday season is always a little bit rough for some folks, so definitely make sure you reach out to your people. But for us, we'll see you back next week. Much love. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you then. Big gold bell.